right, we got Cassie Moore and Bismarck Morgan in for the second time. Thank you for coming back. So thank you both for coming in. So
Yeah.
Cassie, tell everybody what you do if they don't know who you are.
Yeah. I am in music, so I'm a music producer. I have a label. I'm an artist as well, but yeah, musician. Whatever you want to call me.
And,
Cha-
and Bismarck, for people that didn't see the first one, just a little summary of what you do.
Love music, saxophone player. That's how I express myself. And playing, private gigs, public gigs, solo, sometimes with bands, a lot of weddings, and love life.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Right. Well, if I'm on a yacht with the saxophone, I'd love life too all the time.
Bismarck likes doing that.
So now, Cassie, where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Ohio, and I moved down to Atlanta when I was 10 in the fourth grade. So I say I'm from Atlanta, but yeah, no, music's kind of been a part of me since day one, since I was a child. I think I was in the first grade when second, third grade when I started, really diving into piano and stuff like that.
Everything.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
did you? So you liked Atlanta better than Ohio?
I did. Well, you know what? It's different. It's just
Ohio's
different.
boring as hell.
Yeah, Ohio, listen, nothing changes in Ohio. I don't know, you've been to Ohio,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was born in Kettering Hospital outside of Dayton, Ohio.
Hmm.
And so we'd go to Cincinnati all the time. We'd go to Cleveland, but I had a family in Cleveland. But in Ohio, it was crazy. It's like nobody moves, everybody stays in the same house. You know what I mean? I go back to Ohio from time to time, and it's like nothing has changed. It's like all of my friends when I grew up, they're all still in the same house. But Ohio was cool as a kid because of that. You know what I mean? It's like we all knew each other. We ran around the neighborhood together, and it snowed. We used to play in the snow all the time, and we didn't really have any of that in Atlanta. So it's like, in Atlanta it's fast paced, everything's changing, moving. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
he and I
different.
are from Philadelphia. So
Oh, you get it?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
you get it.
when we moved down here, it was a culture shock.
Philly's a cool town.
Yeah,
Philly's a cool town.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's from that. And where are you from, Bismarck?
West Palm.
You've always been in West
Mhm.
Palm, right?
Bismarck's a Florida boy.
Okay, so then, so you go to Atlanta, and
Yeah,
that's where you go to high school and everything
I
else.
did. Yeah.
Brothers, sisters?
I don't.
No, only
Well,
child.
so a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was born in Ohio. My biological father left. My mom was married very, very young, and so my dad is, legally adopted me. I have his last name Moore. He's not my biological father. So he met my mom when she was a single mom with me, and I think I was a year and a half. And so he scooped both of us up, married my mom, legally adopted me. And so my my point is my biological father. So Moore was not my birth name. My birth name was actually Finn, very Irish name. But fast forward 25 years later, I'm in Atlanta. I'm a professional. I was married at the time. I think I was 30. I think I had just gotten married, and or 29. I can't even remember now. But I found out that my biological father had later in life married and had a son. So I actually have a half brother. It's crazy, but it's a long story. So I don't know. I mean, I am an only child, yes, but technically
Did
I do have
you
a half
did you ever try
brother.
to look for your half brother
You know what?
or talk to your dad?
It's crazy. I actually about 7 or 8 years ago, I was married at the time, and I had been talking to my best friend in Atlanta, and she brought up, she was like, Cassie, have you ever thought about the fact, because I was always bummed because I never had siblings. I always wanted siblings. As an only child, you feel very alone in the world. You know what I mean? And so I was talking to my best friend in Atlanta, Andrea, and she was like, she's like, have you ever thought about the fact that your biological father may have had other children. And I was like, I never really thought about it. And so she and I ended up on the phone one night for like 3 or 4 hours, like researching. And, I discovered, my half brother kind of on the internet. And I was like, I think this might be a relative, we kind of linked it back. And so I was like, Andrea, I don't know. I don't know what I should do. Should I'm 30 something years old, clearly he's younger. He's a little younger than me and probably has no idea that I even exist. Right. And I was like, do I reach out? And she was like, what we decided on was LinkedIn. She was like, you know what, Cassie, go on LinkedIn and send like a very professional message. He's in digital media. Maybe act as if you're a potential client and just send a hello message and see what kind of response you get. So I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I just sent a quick intro email on LinkedIn, and he responded about 6 or 7 hours later with a very long novel of a message and or a couple paragraphs. And he said, Cassie, he said, I've been hoping you would reach out to me my whole life.
Wow.
And he's like, you don't know this, but I've known about you. And come to find out, he was living in Atlanta. And he and my biological father would drive by my house with at the time, the house my husband and I had together. And they would see me gardening in like the yard and stuff. And they would drive by, and he's like, we never wanted to say anything because we never wanted to disrupt your life. So here this whole time he had been like following what I had been doing with life. So anyway, it was a real like.
It's a good story though, because so your brother and father were following you, but they didn't want to jump into your life because you have your own thing going on now. All of a sudden, hey, Cassie, this is your real dad, and oh, by the way, you have a brother.
Yeah, and it was just, it was such a weird thing for me to discover as an adult because I am very, very, very close with my dad that raised me. My dad was, one of the top financial advisors at Morgan Stanley, just very respected and very, he's always been like my role model, you know what I mean? And I have a very close relationship with him. And I didn't know how that would make him feel, you know what I mean? And so it was a really like weird couple of years. We met, we got to know each other, and then it just became very hard for me. So it's an area of my life that's kind of unresolved totally.
So still kind of iffy with
yeah, no, I mean, it's just my brother is just a few years younger than me and so nice. And so I really should have a relationship with him. But he just got married. It was a lot of information for me to get, you know what I mean? So I tend to kind of like close myself off when things get.
Oh, you're a shutdown, huh?
Yeah.
You put the wall up.
I do. I know this about myself.
Have you gotten the wrath of the wall yet from her?
No.
I would say so. No.
No.
Nah, you're too nice.
No, I know. I do. No, I tend to just. I know. I don't know why I do that. I just do that.
Well, maybe you don't want to not because your brother, because your father.
Yeah, it's the father thing is weird.
So it's not the brother.
It's not the brother.
Because your stepdad raised you. So then the concern for me, if I'm you, would be, well, am I going to hurt my stepdad's feelings that raised me all my life? And
right, because I can't even call him my stepdad. Like he is my dad.
Your dad, your acting dad.
Yeah,
we'll say
I have his last name. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's my dad. He knows me. My biological father.
And I mean that in a nice way, like acting dad.
Yeah.
Bad wording.
No. I know what you mean.
So you don't want to. Then he raised you all your life for 30 years or however many years, and now you realize who your biological father is, you don't want to hurt his feelings.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's really I've always felt like I've kind of living someone else's life a little bit. You know, yeah. Like I've never really felt.
I went through that with my parents. My mom and dad had separated, and my mom would hate when I went to my dad's. My dad, when I was growing up, he wasn't around. Yeah. Then when he decided to come around, my mom would get mad when I went there. So I was in that bind. It's different with you, but similar where it's like I wanted to go see my dad at the time when he decided to be a father, the jerk off, but I didn't want to upset my mom.
Right.
So then when he decides when I'm 18 or 17 or whatever that he's going to move to move closer to me in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Now because he woke up and decided this, that I'm going to go over there all the time. And then I don't because it upsets my mom. Plus, I'm like, dude, you waited 18, 17 years.
Yeah, right?
Now I'm playing football or whatever it was, and now you want to move down? So I had the same type of conflict.
Yeah, so you know what it's like? It's so weird because obviously when I got together with my brother, my half-brother, Kevin, when Kevin and I met, it was just like, it was like he wanted to know everything about me. It was like finding a sibling when you're 30 and missing your entire life. It's like, oh my God, you have to so we went through this getting to know each other, right? And I asked him, what his relationship was like. And he's like, Cassie, he's been the best dad to me. So the father that, had a problem with alcohol and left my mom when she was pregnant with me, basically. I mean, I think he held me at the hospital and then I think he just left and never came home, So it was like, that man ended up having a son a few years later and being an amazing dad to him. So it's just the whole thing is just.
See, you women, and Bismarck will agree with me with this, and I know Rob will. You women got to understand, men can change.
Yeah,
you guys get on these phones.
I believe that.
Blah. Men can change.
Yeah, no, I believe that.
And right there's proof.
I 100% know.
How many women have told you that men can't change? You're on all those yachts and everything.
Oh my God.
Many young and old.
Every time I think of Bismarck, Rob, I think of him on that fucking yacht with that saxophone, just killing shit.
I know.
I got to play it again on Instagram later.
That's what attracted that. Yeah, I mean, that's what made me walk up to Bismarck and start talking to him was his saxophone. I was like, that dude is cool.
That's actually a cool thing. Remember Wellington?
Yeah,
polo. That's a cool little story.
Yeah, we finally figured out where he and I met. And it was Wellington. We were out at the I don't know if you've been out in Wellington.
Yeah.
The old what was it called? But back at Park
White Horse?
No, not White Horse. It was Park Tavern. Back when it was what's it? Gondos.
You know where that is, Rob?
No. Anyway.
The grill?
The grill. The old grill.
The grill.
Yeah, the grill. We were at the grill in Bismarck, and I'm a music person, so if I'm out, I'm listening to music, right? And the DJ was playing all this good house music, and Bismarck was standing up on the back of the thing, and he was just wailing the saxophone, and I was like, and there's something about a saxophone with house music, I love that combo, and so he stepped up and he started playing the sax, and I flipped around. I was with big group of friends, and I flip around, and I'm like, who's that guy? I'm like, oh my God, I got to talk to him. He's cool as hell. That's literally I just walked right up to you.
Now, tell me what happened, Bismarck. What happened?
I think I remember being in the moment and the vibe. And
he was playing his ass off.
I remember buying a bunch of shots. And I bought a bunch of shots and I just gave them. I didn't know Cassie then. I handed them out to her and her friends. And
did you? I probably passed mine to someone else. I don't drive. I can't.
Is it slightly blurry?
Oh no! It happened.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, there were 20 of us. It was after polo on a Sunday.
Oh, the polo club thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wellington's big for that. You do a lot with that, don't you?
Yeah, post COVID.
Yeah. Now, how bad did that affect your business? Because you're live,
right?
So when the pandemic hit, did you really take a hit with that?
Yeah, it went from a lot to nothing. I mean, you rely on family, other resources, and hopefully a a decent savings account.
What'd you do? How long were you out for?
Believe it or not, I mean, being in the great state of Florida, shout out Florida. I had a few parties booked, private stuff for people who were open to having things and comfortable. And they're outside, safe by whatever measures. But I was also skeptical. There's this whole period of time where, do I want to put this on social media? Do I want to put this on my story? Would everyone freak out seeing that I'm playing, under quarantine? But I did.
Right, because you were concerned that then maybe they won't hire you later on when this dies down because, you have it, right?
Right.
Is that crazy or what, man?
Yeah, those thoughts did cross my mind. Yeah.
How did it affect you?
God, for me, it was so crazy because I went through something really big, like in wealth management. I was making my whole transition from wealth management into music, and I officially left my firm in April of 2020, and then I dove in. So for me, it was like I was always commission anyway. You know what I mean? I never lived my life in a salary job because I was an FA. You know what I mean? So it was like I built my book of business. I handled stock plan, ESOP and ESPP, a lot of corporate institutional stock plans. And so for me, it was like, and then I moved to I started my label, and it was like, well, not having a paycheck was like, or not knowing what your paycheck was going to be was nothing I was unfamiliar with. You know what I mean? So it's just the hustle didn't stop.
What jobs did you have before you started to get into music?
Yeah, so I was in wealth management for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so that was the primary thing.
Yeah, I graduated college, and literally in 2000, in the year that the tech bubble and markets went to shit, and everybody, all the big firms shut down their training programs. And here I graduate from college, and I'm literally 21 years old. And I walk into Smith Barney. My father had,
He had some juice.
Well, my dad was, one of the first guys to really kind of encompass the whole concept of stock options. And so my father had built this very large team handling these institutional clients. But my dad was like, Cassie, my dad it's never been a handout for Cassie. My dad's like, Cassie. Yeah. Well, yeah. And he's like, Cass, if you want to be in this industry, you got to make it on your own first, graduate the FA program, which was a 3-year program. And then he was like,
My kind of guy.
If you make it, then we can talk about maybe you joining the team. And so I was like, I sat in the bullpen, cold calling, cold walking. I told Bismarck, in Atlanta, I would literally I would map out where I was going to cold walk, and I would go to the top of like the high-rise buildings and literally go like all the way down and visit all the businesses in the building. And I'd be like, hi, can I talk to your plan sponsor about your 401k? I was like, but anyway, my point is at 21, markets were hell. I was 21. Markets were terrible. And I literally walk in Smith Barney, and I was like, I want to be a financial advisor. And they were like, okay. Well, we're going to start you as a sales assistant first, because you got to get your licensing. And I'm like, no. I don't want to be a sales assistant. I want to be a financial advisor. So they were like, oh my God. So finally they were like, okay, man, just throw her in the program, because they don't like to put you in that young, because they don't want you to fail. They don't want to set you up to fail, So I knew, my point is I knew I wanted to be a financial advisor when I got out of school. And so, and I did, I kind of created a niche for myself. So I worked strictly with corporate executives and handled, all the Section 16 insiders. So I don't know. Anyway, but
it's that whole complicated thing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, what exactly is wealth management? Like we've had a bunch of stock guys in. I don't think we've ever figured that question out yet.
Really?
No. So what exactly is wealth management?
Yeah, wealth management is just, it's that term has kind of evolved over the years, right? Like back in the day when I started out, it was, equity and bond markets, there was a lot of transactional trading going on. So you had to really be in tune with what was happening on a day-to-day basis in markets, right? Over the 10 years, 15 years, that kind of more evolved into like a holistic, planning for families, right? And now it's not, we're such a global economy now that it's not transactional anymore. You know what I mean? Like you can't predict what's going on. I mean, for the first time in history, Bismarck can tell you about 7 years ago. I mean, even your top analysts at the firms had no idea what was going on. You know what I mean? Or no idea what was going to happen. It was like, you could anticipate, hey, this particular portfolio is going to do really well, and then the next thing you know, there's a nuclear crisis in Japan that just, you know what I mean,
just kills everything.
Everything, and it's like, well, shit, we didn't see that coming, So it was like we went through a very rocky, very volatile, and now, I mean, look what just happened over the past couple of years with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that. So it's such an evolving industry, but that's what I always loved about it. You know what I mean?
That always changes.
It always changes. It was like you never knew. I mean, we were one of the underwriters on the Facebook IPO, and I remember,
wow.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I have so many stories of being in wealth management. It's like crazy. When I first started out at the firm, prior to joining my dad's team, Google had gone public, and I had clients of mine. I had built my own book of clients, and I had very wealthy clients of mine that wanted to get in on the Google IPO. And I don't know if you guys remember when Google went public. Or I don't know if
I know. No. It was not, okay. If I you should have met her then, pal.
Yeah. That might have been.
We wouldn't be sitting here right now.
No, but I mean, the Google IPO, I don't know if you guys knew this. The Google IPO was actually was the first auction IPO. So
how much did it go for?
So it was $85. $85. So it was like back in the day, it was like I had clients that were like, I want in. And I was like, no. We're not doing that. It's too risky. Oh. It's too, this is the first auction IPO. And, and then in hindsight, the next day, they're all pissed, they're like, Cassie, we could have gotten in. I'm like, well, who would have thought Google would have gone that way? So then fast forward 10 years, there's a point to this. Fast forward 10 years later, whatever it was, when Facebook goes public. And now I'm like, well, shit, we're going to get everyone in Facebook. Facebook's definitely going to go up. Right?
Now, at this time, MySpace was the big thing, right? Well, like before Facebook came out, it was MySpace, right?
It was MySpace, yeah, right? But that was a long time ago.
But when Facebook came out, though, there was already a MySpace.
There was.
Right?
Yep, there was.
So I would think that would be a risk as far as stock because...
but we all knew MySpace was going away.
And then AOL bought them, right? Time Warner.
It was time, and we handled the Time Warner plan.
Did you?
Yeah, Time Warner and Time Warner Cable are still clients of my father's team.
So don't tell me. Yeah. What do you think Facebook opened up at? Like, so Google was $85. What do you think Facebook was?
I'm going to shoot for my first thought was 16. I'm going to say $25. Boom.
Okay, I'm going to say 32. What are you going to say, Rob?
I'll say it was 35.
God, I can't even remember now what it was.
Oh, what the fuck?
No, sorry. I was going to have you pull. Well, because
I'll take three bets and you don't even know the answer?
Because I'll tell you what. Was it 21? I can't even remember. I'm going to tell you why I can't remember.
Would you like us to Google it?
Yeah, I know. I actually want to look it up. We should know this. Bismarck, you're still in the... So listen, we got to work that morning, and what did Facebook do out the gate? Just plummeted.
It plummeted.
Yeah, no, we had put everybody in. It was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy. So my point is like
right there. Oh, damn. Who was the closest?
I said 35.
Dr. Rob.
Yeah, fuck.
What'd I say? 32?
Yeah.
Oh, it dropped. It dropped to 21. I know 21. I remember 21 that day. All I can remember was 21. Anyway, my point is anyway. So that's what I did prior to music.
Shoot me.
I didn't mean to put us on a tangent.
No, that's crazy though,
But it's crazy. And I worked with, at the time, throughout my career in wealth management,
I'm blaming you for this.
I did it.
I worked with all the like Section 16 insiders. So, a lot of the corporate executives, can't just buy and sell equities when they want. They have to put a predetermined sales contract. It's the whole like, the story with Martha Stewart. If you're subject to insider trading, there's certain. It's called a 10b5-1 contract.
What was her?
That you have to do.
What did she actually get pinched for? Tax evasion, or was it a stock thing?
No, it was insider trading.
It was Wesley Snipes that got the tax evasion, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got buried. He got like 4 years for that. And then Stewart was what?
Insider trading. I think she was trading equity. Yeah.
Dirty bitch is rich as hell. Why would she do that?
I don't know.
She knew when to sell. I don't know how it works, but she knew something was going to happen. And
you can't do that as a corporate, as an insider of a company.
Okay, I haven't had that job, and you see Elon Musk put in $2 billion to Bitcoin, let it there a couple of days, and then pull out. It doubles. He makes $4 billion.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Given your background,
I mean, listen,
hell of a move.
I'm not ever going to say what Elon can or cannot do. I mean, if you've got that kind of money, listen, that's play money. You know what I mean? I mean, money is relative. I dealt with a lot of ultra high net worth clients that would have a portion of their portfolio that we called sexy money. It was like, okay, Cassie, we want the portfolio that makes sense, and then we want this percentage of the portfolio to be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna put it wherever I want. And we call it the sexy. Whether it's
a cool label. I love that label.
Sexy,
really chill.
Sexy money. Yeah.
To the point.
Yeah.
Now, did the big rich guys like that name? Were they attracted, or did they think that was like not professional enough for them?
Why do you assume it was big rich guys?
Oh fuck! Just got cooked. Just got smoked. I take it. I'm down for the count.
I worked with a lot.
1, 2, 3. I'm down. I'm knocked out.
I had a billionaire female client.
Knockout blow.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm done.
I had to.
We don't know what
Tommy,
button is.
Tommy, you laid me up for it. You laid me up for it. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, man or woman, I'm gonna get killed on that one. That was just,
I corrected you. It's all
yeah,
good.
you corrected me. Right. Not something I really want to be corrected on, but what are we gonna do about it? Are you into Bitcoin?
I've watched.
Yes.
He is.
Well, I mean, I hear so much about that space. There's so much, man.
What do you think of Bitcoin?
I mean, am I invested in it? Yes, to a certain extent. I'm still learning about it, to be honest with you, because you have to remember this started catching speed when I was buried in my music. I mean, people don't realize if I commit to a career, I go all in. You know what I mean? And so if I were still in finance, I'd be all over this. You know what I mean? I'd be all over it. I'd be focused on it on a day-to-day basis. For me, we were down in Miami for crypto weekend.
Oh, what a weekend.
And
ooh.
Yeah, and
crazy.
No, I mean, we had so many conversations. I mean, I was talking to friends of mine and former clients of mine that are that are very heavily invested in it. But I'm having to learn. I'm still learning. I feel like my learning curve is still like this, which is weird for me because usually people are coming to me for advice. You know what I mean? So, crypto, the like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I think just like I look at it kind of like I think of it like I would like commodities almost, or you know what I mean? In terms of like my total portfolio, I think there's an aspect of it that we're still kind of unsure of. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're kind of saying if somebody has, say, 10 million and there's 2 million left over, then you would maybe toss that 2 million into Bitcoin and see what happens.
To answer your question, do I think Bitcoin is something you should take, 50% of your money and dump it into? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? But 10% of your portfolio or 5% to play with and see what happens. Yeah, sure. And
how was that event that you went to?
So major shout out to Deadmau5, major amazing DJ. So
Bismarck's favorite artist.
Well, yes, how about my top 10? Just because of his personality and just who he is. So originally, I was trying to buy tickets to go see Deadmau5. It was a Wednesday night. I couldn't make it. And then this is all music, man. This happens all the time. Life is just vibes, and sometimes things just fall into place. So for some weird reason, he cancels the Wednesday night, the night I can't make it, and reschedules on a Saturday when I can make it. So I'm thinking to myself, well, this has got to be destiny. Favorite guy, Club 11 in Miami, the best sound system I've ever heard.
Really?
They have their own brand of sound, vodka too. And so I'm hearing this guy.
Shout out to Gino.
Shout out to Gino Pinto, Club 11. So hearing this guy as an artist, he makes all of his music. To be able to go into a club and play all of your own tracks back to back for the entire duration of your set is just balls. I mean, he didn't play anyone else's music but his own. So back to back to back to back, you know? And I thought that was amazing. So much kudos to him. And he's a huge crypto guy.
Really?
So this was during Crypto Week, which I think was the first annual in Miami. And so I think the crowd there was eclectic. It was really like maybe some people who made some coin off of coin and, wanted to spend it. So it was a very unique night. A lot of nerds running around, partying, not knowing how to handle their liquor, and which was added to the fun. And Deadmau5 and, bouncing around with his hat on, going nuts, and his visuals. That was another thing. He's hilarious.
Why does he call himself Deadmau5?
He like, even if you look at how he spells the name, he spells it DEAD.
His branding is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's brilliant as an artist.
Honestly, he's a cat guy. So
really?
Funny enough, he's a cat guy.
His NFTs are amazing.
Yeah, he's in the NFT game.
Have you seen his NFTs?
No.
Deadmau5?
No, I have no idea.
Shout out to Deadmau5.
Shout out to Deadmau5.
His NFTs, I was flipping through them. They're insane.
Is that him there?
That's him, yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, he's got the mouse head. Okay, guys.
Okay. Maybe go to his website.
These are dead mouses here. Dead mouses.
Okay.
Wow.
Is this him there?
That's him. Yeah. Yeah, his NFTs are
I'll go out on a limb.
Oh, so he wears like what's that marshmallow guy? So he wears like almost the same thing.
Yeah,
he's the original though. He's the original. Marshmallow probably.
So Marshmallow copied him.
You could say copied, but he was the first. Shout out. Original.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it when it's lit up.
The other thing you were just talking about, my son just keeps talking about this NFTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What in the fuck is an NFT? He's trying to explain to me. It's another one of those like virtual type things that you buy.
It's art. It's like a piece of art. It's like owning a digital
You understand?
piece of art.
Can you explain it to us?
One of a kind.
In professional terms?
No, listen, you guys aren't going to do that to me.
I can break it up. Break it up.
I mean, it's.
I mean, I know like the summary of it, but I don't know it.
So NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Yeah.
It's essentially a claim on a digital asset. So, case in point, I call him. You could call him Meme Lord as well, because this guy is just hilarious. Deadmau5, shout out Deadmau5. So he has a random picture of a cat and a Pop-Tart. Okay, and it was a meme, and it started 5 years ago. If you wanted to make that official and a piece of digital real estate to say that, okay, I own a piece of that original, that is essentially the birth of an NFT. So you break it up, you fraction it. Like, I could purchase a tiny piece if it's available. So, okay, I could go screenshot it. I get it. But to say there's a system to own the original part of it, it's really a claim on a digital world.
A digital asset. It's like owning,
Yeah. You guys are going to die at this. Yep. So who did we have in that I bought? I bought that.
That was.
I can't.
You bought.
Well, no, I didn't buy it. I was about to. But.
No, remember they had.
So while he thinks of who it was that came in, because it's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. So. And I'm sorry that I forget your name for there's been a lot of these. But so he comes in and he says, look, you could buy land online.
Okay.
So he goes to this website. It's called, I think, earth.co or something.
Yeah.
So it's like all these properties that are like really, really cheap land that you could buy and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And he's like blowing this up and talking up how great it is, whatever. He's not invested. I mean, he's invested in it, but he doesn't own it.
Yeah.
Well, here, my dumbass, I'm thinking it's really land. So him and I both think it's land the whole time. Even when the guy leaves.
You guys thought NFT was land?
No, there's a website where you can like virtually buy land. So like,
got it.
This is mine. This building is mine, but you can buy this space online, and then it's yours. And then it's like that game.
It's a virtual world, like the Sims.
It's like the Sims.
Oh, got it.
So, and then they trade, and it's this whole thing, and it looks like a real thing. It was Earth.co, I think, right?
Yeah. So it was like if you wanted to buy, this building in this area, you would own it virtually. And I guess if someone virtually wanted to buy it then and knock the building down and build their own thing virtually, they could do it. Like, that's where I'm so confused with all this virtual stuff. I mean, it's the next wave, because
you gotta see this.
My son's in finance class now.
It's big in music too. Yeah. I mean, I've got mine. I'm gonna have some NFTs as well.
but his teacher said to him, because that's why he's like, Dad, could I take some money, like chore money, and put some of it into it? And I'm like, I don't know. But what he's telling me is his financial teacher is telling him to invest into it.
Yeah, it's cool.
A couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. I guess.
Yeah. I don't like the stock thing at all. But I think that's here to stay for sure. And to you, I really did think it was land. Now, is NFT like this? So this moron that used to work for me that I can't stand, he was addicted to this site called Bigo. You'll die with this shit. So what he would do is, and he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met as far as like online things like that, and whenever, I would pay him to do something, the second he got it, he would go to Bigo, and he's in another country because I subcontract. So there's like, you're in another country, right? Or you're here in the US, other people are in other countries, and you go on and you say, hey, if you send me a heart, I'll show you my nipple, right? And then, like, these guys will send virtual hearts for $500, and the girl is talking to however many people are watching her.
This is so
boom,
crazy.
$500 for a heart. If you send me a crown, I'll do something else. If you send me this, I'll do this. And these bros are making a killing. And this kid is going through, I'm telling you, at least $5K a month. That's NFT?
No.
No?
No.
Well, at least I got to give him. At least I gave him a good hit.
Virtual porn.
That is.
Oh man.
Well, I thought it was. Well, listen, but I thought it was NFT because like it's a virtual heart. So I'm.
No. It's not a token. This
is what we were talking
asset.
about.
So this is the Earth. See, there's prices here for France. I forget. Let's see if we can buy. Let's go to buy land.
Look at this.
Oh, we're gonna buy some land. Let's see.
Now I'm thinking this is real land.
So yeah, I mean, you can buy like portions here. Like imagine a surveyor. If we surveyed this square, and this is probably okay. So, freshwater, sand, limestone, iron, or wood. Wow.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
Look, and then there's the price and everything.
And there's who owns it, I guess, right now. United States, someone from the United States. I don't know if that's Russia. I don't know what flag that is.
Yeah, and there's Japan.
I don't know.
So you could see why I'm thinking this is real.
I certainly wouldn't trust that. I don't know.
Whoever it was dead set that this was like the God gift to
Everybody's got their, listen, you know what? My philosophy is if you're comfortable with it and it's making you money, do it. You know what I mean? Listen, everyone's comfort level and knowledge is different. And hey,
be the master of something else, right?
Yeah. Now, when you're working in wealth management, are you thinking music?
I'm not working in wealth management
No.
anymore,
When you were. No, I said,
when
you were you thinking music?
Yeah. So music was always a part of me. You know what I mean? I would get off of work. I was into wakeboarding for a while. I would get on the boat. I'd board for a couple hours, and then I'd come home and then write music. Like music and board sports were always hobbies of mine. Music was just a list in the list of hobbies of mine, right? And then, I don't know. I can't. I can't really describe it. It's like when you have a calling for something. Like it got louder and louder and louder, and it was like, okay, I don't know. The music happened, and I was like, let me just screw it. I'm gonna put something out, you know, and I started when I learned production, that's what changed for me. Like I can't walk past a piano without wanting to play it. Like legit. You know what I mean? The guitar, I learned piano before. Piano is my number one instrument. Guitar is after that. You know, I started learning my chords. I started playing the guitar. I got an electric guitar. I started playing around. I do my own riffs now when I produce. But the instruments were always a love of mine. Writing compositions was always a love of mine. But it was when I learned the software and realized that I could actually produce a song, I was like, the production. Oh, know that.
What software do you use?
Pro Tools.
Do you know what that is, Rob? Do you use the same thing?
I don't actually do a lot of production. That's later down the road.
Yeah, Bismarck's wanting to learn some production. Yeah. Pro Tools is but once I learned Pro Tools, it was like I'm like a kid in the candy store with Pro Tools. Like, it's so funny. Like, do you guys remember being a kid and having like the catalog of like toys that would come to the house and you would like circle the stuff that you want to ask Santa
Toys R Us.
Yeah, like I don't know.
They closed.
Yeah, I know they did. Excuse me, but I get my Sweetwater catalog. You know,
I order from them too.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ben, I've got my specific guys at Sweetwater that know me, and I'm like, I'll call them up, and he's like, "What are you wanting to buy now, Cassie?" You know, I'm like, "What? Let me know when that mic goes on sale." You know,
Sweetwater and BH Audio.
Okay, I don't. I'm Sweetwater all the way now.
Well, I like Sweetwater, but BH Audio for this kind of stuff, they have a little bit more geared toward this.
Got it.
And Sweetwater is more geared toward you, but they have things that BH Audio has, you know, whatever.
That's so cool.
Now with you, with the saxophone, did you always have that in you from the time you were younger?
Not really. This is a cool story how it evolves for Bismarck. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know you said it before 8 months ago, whenever. So give a quick summary of how you got into the saxophone, because I know you want to really push Cassie.
You know, one step leads to the other. I think in its most basic form, you have your interest is piqued. I think that as a person, once you know that you're interested in something, you take steps toward it. So I would say it's a pathway of me saying, okay, maybe one day it's me seeing an artist or seeing someone playing, and then I'm drawn to it. Then I decided to pick it up. It was school. It was some private parties. I played clarinet I did some time on clarinet.
So I remember you telling me to play the clarinet.
I did some time, and I would show up to some parties with it, like some house parties, people passing around Jello shots and hanging, a good time, DJ, music, and I'd play the little clarinet, not even on a microphone, just showed up and played it. People would freak out. I was like, oh, who's that guy?
With all due respect, panty dropper?
No.
Thought maybe.
No,
you don't.
No good.
You don't.
Full Squidward vibe. That's not dropping anything.
You don't need to shield me from anything. It's all good.
But
I guarantee you the sax does.
It's one of the it has a vibe. Saxophone is just, and I'm glad I stepped up to that. I think for me, the physicality of it, clarinet is like straight. You play it, it sounds the way it does, but the sax somehow, like, I felt it's more bodied. It just kind of has this my mold to it. Maybe because I'm kind of bigger guy. I'm not super tall, but I think holding the clarinet is like holding a pencil. You just throw it around. Doesn't have much to it. The saxophone is kind of like customized to me. It feels like it's just the saxophone just has like a symmetry to it.
Now, how much did you have to practice breathing to get that down?
So
because when I watch you on here, on like your Instagram and some other on Facebook, I mean, you got some breath, man. I could probably, I don't think I could drown you if I wanted to.
That's great. I love
joking.
Joking. The visual is great. But this is something I always tell people who are learning, and that helps them a lot. There's a science behind it. Take a garden hose. If you just let it run, obviously the water just comes out naturally. If you put your thumb on the top of the garden hose, it all of a sudden makes that water come out a lot faster. So there's a science to how you hold the instrument and put the mouthpiece in your mouth, and you use less to produce more.
I see what you're saying.
So there's a lot of...
You're conservative with your air. Mm-hmm. You've learned how to be conservative with it, right? Now, for you, when you're...
I do not play the saxophone.
No, I know. But what...
I leave that to the professionals.
But you do, you're a producer, writer, artist. Did you have to practice a lot to get it right?
For what?
Generally, all through.
Oh, dude, I think we all have to practice everything we do to, I think any skill has to be practiced. I mean, you could be even the best of the best, continue to practice.
That was a dumb question.
No, question is dumb, Tommy.
What I meant was, how difficult was it to get the writing down correctly? Because you're a writer, producer, and artist.
Yeah, no, it's you know what? It's a lot of music, I feel like, for me, I don't know if Bismarck will agree with this, but a lot of music for me has been confidence with your writing, with your production. Like, I remember in the very beginning when I was like, okay, I might put a song out. Let me just test this out, right? And I had a lot of fear in me because I was like, I can't, like, this is not what I do. I didn't go to school for music. I didn't, you know what I mean? So, and it's scary, you know what I mean? Because that the first, like, time you kind of put yourself out there, that 99% of the people out there are not going to like it, or they're going to critique the shit out of you, right? And you still have to force yourself to do it, right? So you lack a lot of that confidence. And I remember wanting to write certain songs and feeling, and a lot of them, my journals have everything, right? Because I'm a writer. I write in journals all the time. So I have all these journals with like stuff that, now as an artist, I'm more confident. So now I don't give a shit. Now I'm like, I want to write that, so I'm going to write it, but in the very beginning, it was like, you kind of tailor back what you want to do artistically. So to answer your question, I think the more you practice, the more confident you got, and the more confident you got, the more artistic you got, the more creative you got.
And now you can be you.
And now I'm to the point where, and I'm still a newbie, right, in music, but now I'm to the point where I've realized that I need to take the fear and throw it out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they say that, masters are just students who continue to learn.
That's true.
So true.
Now, I know you brought Cassie for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you did.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun,
dun. Now I find out why I'm really here. What is going on?
So what did you see in Cassie that made you attracted to work with her, to bring her in here to promote her, everything else? What do you see in her that you don't see in other artists?
Holistic drive, evenly distributed to the right areas. That's what I would say. So, like, you can have a lot of people who are saying they're doing a lot. You have a lot of people who are focused in one area. But I would say, as a professional, she's covered herself legally, strategically. She's got a vision. And she has all the right, I think, elements. Like, you have to be grounded, but then you also have to stretch yourself. Like, the CEO of anything has to wear every hat, and some hats that aren't even created yet, right? So I think she has that element to her where she's not only growing herself, right? She's building things structurally, but also casting a vision for herself. And that's the big picture. You want to be aligned with people who are getting bigger and doing more. Her Spotify has so many plays, a level that everyone should aspire to. And that's the game these days. Streaming has taken over.
And then
That's so nice, Bismarck. Yeah. Thank you.
There you go, buddy.
I try.
Now you change your gender, genre. Is that how you say it?
Genre.
That's
okay. We can call it gender. That's kind of fun.
All right.
I'm in lots of genders.
Grammar's not good.
How you say it again? Genre. Why the fuck don't they spell it like genre?
The pop gender.
Genre.
I'm just going to say...
now we call it hip-hop.
I'm just going to say your category. Okay, so your category, because I could say that correctly.
That's okay.
So your category, you originally were one category, and then you wanted to expand to more viewers, streamers, to everybody. So then you added in hip-hop, right? So
actually, no. So from day one of coming into this industry, I knew I was going to stay independent. I knew I would probably have to stay independent, initially. But I knew I was going to have my own label. All of this stuff I knew, right, coming in. But I knew that what I hear a lot of music in my head. I hear a lot of things in my head.
I would think so as a musician.
As a producer,
too?
I mean, I do.
And
You
know what? It happens to come at some of the funniest moments when you got other stuff to do.
I mean,
go back to bed.
If you guys saw me in the shower, you have no idea. Like a lot of my, whether it's
you're
in
with
the
two
shower
pretty crazy guys
or driving. No, I just like. I have
actually.
No, I come up with like beats and stuff. No, it's like it's insane. So I hear a lot of like cool shit in my head, and then my biggest challenge is, okay, how the fuck do I take what's in my head and give it to the world, right? And so that's what I had to learn with the software. So once I started getting comfortable with the software, I was like, oh my God, I can actually make this shit. I can let go of some of this shit in my head. But I started out, to answer your question, I started out day one and I was like, fuck the genre thing. I was like, fuck genres. You know what I mean? Like fusion, I don't want to just listen to, a straight rap hip hop song. I don't want to listen to just a pop song. Like I want to take all of this shit and fuse it together. And I like doing that. I like putting, our record that we're about to put out. I took a very heavy bass line and threw a harp on it. Like you know what I mean? No one's done that before. That's the kind of shit and it sounds I think it sounds cool as shit. But how do you label that? And so all of my music, kind of just labels as pop, but it's really fusion. Like I produced Simia, and it was like it's and then I'm different. I'm different from other artists in the sense that I come at the music industry from a business standpoint, right? So the first thing I did when I started making music is I was like, okay, I can't fail at this because this is going to be my career. This has to pay my bills. There is no option B. You know what I mean? So when I left my wealth management, I like closed that chapter forever and was like, you know what? The SEC, I'm going to let them keep my Series 7 and all my licensing that I did for everything. I am going all in on music. And I've never been happier in my life because I feel like I'm finally doing what I was meant to do. But I was like, but because I'm going all in, like I have to look at this as a business, right? So the first thing I did was I literally holed up in my house. Bismarck will tell you, I hole up in my house, which used to not be the case, but I hole up in my house and I literally researched everything about the music industry. I was like, okay, I want to know what genres are successful, what records are selling. I want to know all of the analytics behind the music that goes out into the world, right? And what I learned in that research is I learned what genres are successful and which ones, they're all, I shouldn't say, they're all successful, right? But in terms of dollar and market, right? I love house music. I get in my car and I love tropical house, European lounge. That's my jam. I love that, right? That's what I listen to in my car. I don't produce a lot of that because it doesn't sell the way hip hop does.
So when you were when you went through all that, what was your conclusion?
My conclusion was, okay, so what I want to do is I want to, for example, like I loved reggae and I was like, I had an idea for a reggae song, but when I looked at the analytics, I was like, dude, it's like 2% of the music industry is reggae. And then to take it to like radio, not that we're really a radio, industry anymore. However, we are, you know what I mean? It's like the streaming industry, but radio is still a big aspect of music, right? And I was like, how do I how do I encompass and get a reggae song? It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to play a reggae song on the radio. So I was like, okay, but I have this idea for a song. So how the fuck do I make it mainstream? So what I did was I took my reggae idea as a producer, and I fused it with a beat that was like an urban hip hop beat.
You like layered it, right?
Yeah, I mean, layered it. Yeah, it's just the certain use of sounds in reggae, and then I brought a Jamaican artist. We have a Jamaican artist but it was like, and then Simia is now, it's like now it's okay for radio. So it's like I love doing shit like that, but it's got a reggae vibe to it.
So from your producer standpoint, you'll like reggae, but it's not really that hot, right? So then you'll take that piece of reggae that you like, this piece of R&B, this piece of house,
or like
slap it together.
Like my song "Music for the Win." I took my 5 favorite genres and fused them together. And I fused them together with an electro beat. And I will never forget walking in the studio and I was like, okay, guys, this is what we're making today, right? And I already knew because I'd already kind of, started it, like laying it out, right? And I was like, this is what we're going to do. And it's like when you tell people, hey, I'm going to take production-wise, right? Production element-wise, I'm going to take 5 genres and put them together in one song. You should have seen the looks I got. They were like, yeah, okay, this bitch is not going to last in this industry very long. She's going to be out before, you know what I mean?
And they're like making me work.
Yeah, right? And they're like, dude, this, oh, she's so cute. Look at this. And I was like, no, I can hear it. And I just fused it all together with an electro beat. So it's, but I love doing stuff like that. So I just always wanted to do.
How long does that process take? And I'm asking because he and I have to deal with Final Cut. So I'm just curious, when you want to fuse all that together and say it ends up being a 4-minute song.
Yeah.
How long does that take to put all together?
It takes me to produce a song. It's about 2 to 3 days.
It's not bad.
So the longest song that it took me to make was my very first song, Rumors. And that took 12 days, I think, because first of all, it was my first song, right?
OCD maybe a little bit?
Well, OCD. I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't say OCD.
No.
It's not an OCD thing. It's more of a perfectionist thing. Like I am a perfectionist.
See, everyone and anyone.
Rob gets it.
Yeah, because he's OCD.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody
Nothing wrong with
everybody that has OCD says, no, I'm a perfectionist. Or you have ADHD. No, I don't. Just because I have to do things. No, you got ADHD.
Do I have ADHD?
You? No.
No, I just have
so you're just OCD.
a little bit, a slight ADHD.
We're diagnosing.
No, I don't think you have ADHD. I think just OCD.
I used to write my penmanship, and I used to cry when I was a kid. It was a psychological thing for me. If my letters weren't perfect, I would erase, and I would write it again. And I'd look at it, and I'd erase. And I'd write it again.
Oh, I'm not that bad. I'm a little like that, though. Like with my music.
Okay, I take that back. You're not kind of OCD. You are OCD.
Yeah, I mean, that changed. I don't care about my handwriting anymore.
But still, you know.
But switching the brown bun here. What you're describing is you're mixing all this stuff together, but it's outside the box.
Yeah.
That's what I think people... That's like the greatest comes from outside the box.
It's just different. But, for me, when I put a song out, it's like I want it to be a song that attracts the masses, right? Because I'm trying to put a song out and have it be a successful business. You know what I mean? Sure. It's like, is it true? Like, if I artistically really, truly do what I want to do, I'd probably be putting house music out all the time. And you know what I mean? But I'm not a DJ. I don't want to be a DJ. That's never been an art that has interested me. Because DJing is something totally different. I get that all the time. They're like, "Oh, Cassie, you're a DJ." I'm like, no. I'm not. That's totally different art, right? But as a producer, it's like I want to produce something that I can, a 65-year-old woman will listen to and a 12-year-old boy will listen to. You know what I mean? So like the pop, because I'm like, I've just got to sell records. Once I start getting more successful, I might branch out and start being more creative with or going to the places that I really want to go to. Right. But I just financially can't yet. You know what I mean?
Well, this is what you've chose to pay the bills, so you have to.
Yeah, because you know what I mean. But that's how that's a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of my listeners on Spotify because it's
different.
It's different. It's attracting. You know what I mean?
But once you get the traction, then you'll be able. Once you get the traction a little bit more, then you'll be able to do whatever
marathon,
you want,
and it's a marathon.
So you kind of got to go with the analytics for now,
yeah.
And then as time goes on, then you can put out whatever you want, because, because it won't be just 2 years. These people putting out shit, whatever they want. You're talking 5-10 years, or they got a ton of money behind them.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the other thing. I've self-funded everything.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I have not had a single dollar from anyone, you know what I mean? Which is been a lot of, now I've been very smart, very good with money in the past. I went through my divorce, and my divorce I'm still dealing with, that's some of that, but I've had to sacrifice a lot.
Well, it's a good thing you were in wealth management, because it's helped you kind of, make good decisions with money you do have to invest in this.
Yeah, I've put it all into the business.
It's almost like the wealth management.
I'm like, my God, it's got to pay back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My legal fees and all this will pay back. It's just, it's time.
Now, like when you do a track, if you want to sample something, you have to contact the person to sample it. How does that whole sampling go?
I don't sample anything.
No?
Boom. There's the answer.
Oh, okay.
100%
sampling.
original.
Sample is a lot of artists flip songs all the time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, there's a song. It's not with Cassie, but so long story short, like, you want to be 100% original, and I'm just really proud of what track I did with River Deep, and the sax sample I did in that came out very well.
What's it called?
It's called Free Mind.
Free Mind?
And right on the drop, the sax just came out milky smooth, and it just was so good. And I thought to myself, like, one of the things musicians can do, you can create sound packs. So if I want to do as an artist, I could record myself as a sax player and some like samples, and that can be sold to other DJs, producers who want to buy that. I don't 100% support that, because I think that dilutes me, right? If I'm going to be on a track, I want to be me and my own, and not have my other content out there. But that's something I had to kind of jump in there, because I'm very passionate about that. Original music is the best. You never ever want to be anywhere near like having to ask permission to do something.
You want it to be genuine, 100% genuine, legally, and yours.
Legally,
yeah,
it's the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do. Nothing never ever needs to come into question.
Because
I can imagine that those fees would add up on samples.
Yeah, I mean, big artists flip songs all the time, and I mean that's different from sampling, but yeah.
When you say flip, what's that mean?
Remaking, but yeah, taking a song from the past that you love, and
like Michael Jackson, for example,
and just change it like a tiny bit.
Yeah, like just kind of like, and I think that's really cool when artists do that, because I feel like it freshens us. I feel like a lot of music from the past needs that. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool. But, obviously when you do that, there's a contract and there's an agreement, and, everybody gets paid. And, when you're starting on your own, specifically when you don't have the, financial backing from other people, it's like, you can't really afford to, you've got to make it on your own with your own music first. Right. And get that revenue in. And it's just, listen, it's a business. So it's not like you wake up one morning and it's like, boom.
It takes time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, unless, daddy writes a check for $2 million. And,
unless you got the trust fund sitting there, or.
Yeah, I mean, or you'd be like, my parents will be like, you can have our money when we,
Miley Cyrus, if you're Miley Cyrus and her dad's got the pocketbook, she's already out there, because, I mean, I don't know. I personally don't think it's good.
It's just, so for me, it's, I've got to build it on my own.
Yeah.
And, and that's hard sometimes, but it is, I own and control everything. So that's good.
And you're three-dimensional,
Yeah.
right? Because you're producing, writing, and artist.
I'm doing it all. Yeah. But I'm weird like that. Like I don't want anyone else producing my music for me.
No, I understand that.
I don't know why. Like the production, I'm like, I'll throw other artists on my production all day long, right? But the production, that's why I say I'm a producer first, I think, because my production is like my obsession. I love making the music,
I can see that. I can see that.
So anyway.
So now when you go to put out a new track, how do you go about it?
I would say I'm a collaborator.
You collaborate?
Definitely. So like our partnership, I would say musically is that she would, she produces the bulk of it. I'm a part of the icing on the cake, if you will.
Would we be here today if there was no Jimi Hendrix?
What a bomb question to drop. The nuclear bomb of questions. I think the earth would be out of alignment.
What is about Jimi Hendrix today?
I came up with that question, by the way.
That's a great question. My God. Where would we be? I think Jimi Hendrix was a force of nature in his own time. Back in a time of obviously freedom and expression and a lot of hippiness. I think he had a sound that was pioneering. And probably people that were in attendance of his concerts back then didn't know that they were witnessing a great moment.
What they were seeing.
So for someone like that, the life of a person like that to be extended even further, how much more would they have impacted the world? Or would they have impacted the world less? And kind of bled into normality, right? John Coltrane, the big sax player. It's so funny. All these people who have made these big impacts have died young.
Yeah.
So it's like whether it's, drugs or like, life. I don't know how to put the label on it, but, there's like to kind of piggyback on what Cassie said, it is a marathon. You should definitely run it as a marathon.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I feel like artists evolve, you know what I mean? Like I think it's a beautiful thing. Some of my favorite artists, started off one way, and then later in life like came back with a totally different vibe or sound or you know what I mean, and attracted a totally different audience too. It's like artists can be evolving, you know what I mean? It's no different than any other career, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I think also it highlights and I don't know what it just highlights different aspects of you as a person. I feel like it's like it showcases your talents. When you can evolve and change, and it's like, okay, I did that for a couple years. Now I'm going to go, as an artist, I'm going to put this kind of music out, and I'm going to, it's cool. There's a really cool aspect of that,
And would you consider Cassie more of an artist, producer, or writer? If you had to pick one of the three.
Producer.
Okay.
Off the rip. That's my first instinct. I mean, perception, I know her probably better than, the average person, especially musically. Like, I would say producer. And it's probably maybe the greatest thing I respect her for. Original music, great amount of plays on, Spotify. It's something to be said.
Now, I know how when you guys first saw each other or the place, but how did you guys connect?
From my perspective,
From your perspective,
it was just a development of time. It's like, oh hey, oh hi, and then it just
online, like on.
I would say running into each other at different places,
events or something.
Yeah,
and then just saying hey, and then from my mind,
I think it was going out, and
yeah.
That's the other thing about me. Like I just, production is what I love. However, it's like. When I think of myself, okay, Cassie, would you just sit inside all day just producing? It's like there's an aspect of me, I am dying to get on stage and perform some of this music. We have a show. I have got, 10 people I want to bring on stage with me. I love to dance. I love the energy of live music. I love going to shows. So that's the artist aspect in me that it's like, oh my God, like to make it and then to be able to enjoy the music with everybody, you know what I mean? And do all the fun stuff that we want to do. that's just exciting to me. But my point with that is going out and enjoying music, I think, is how Bismarck and I connected, because we were always, if the DJ was good, he's there and I'm there, and we're there because the DJ's good.
Right. That's good when you can know someone that's legitimately there for the music, not to see.
We're probably
what else is going on.
we're probably two of the only people, maybe Lipson, but really, like, of our friends, if he and I really think about it, is there anybody else that would strictly go out just for the music?
Very small number.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need alcohol. I don't need the crowd to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, I could go to like the hole in the wall shitty bar with the weird crowd. But if the guy on stage is good or the girl on stage is good, I'm like, I'm there.
You're there.
You know what I mean? Like, because the music.
Now, how long have you been doing the sax for?
I'd say paid since 2012.
2012, and you got 2 years then, right? You've been doing.
I've only been in music for 2 years.
About 2 years.
Yeah, 2019.
And at what point in those 2 years did you run into Bismarck?
Well, we were friends back in the day. We've been friends for probably 5-6 years.
Oh, prior to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started talking more when I started getting more into music, and I think it's because I started putting music out, and Bismarck actually started reaching out to me, right? Because I think it was like, I feel like he started to reach out more often because I think you saw what I was doing and you were curious and you were like, hey.
And you, I think at one point you also planted a seed. Like, you wanted to maybe, you said it really diplomatically. Like, I could maybe see you on a track of mine one day. Let's keep in touch. Just classic
I'm very
label owner.
professional. I'm very professional. Like, I talk to everyone. Guys, I spent 15 years like having to wear a power suit, like, to work every day.
What do they say in The Wolf of Wall Street? Power or no, Hitch, because I just had a guy.
Okay. I was in the
Hitch.
Wall Street job. So it's like,
he goes, power suit, power shoot. You know the movie Hitch?
I can't remember.
You never seen Hitch?
No, I've seen it, but it's been years. That's an old movie.
Will Smith, right?
Yeah,
Will Smith.
McCartney, there was
I'll have to watch
Joey
that
McCartney.
again.
He was in Hitch, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was.
Joe Bratt. Yeah, anyway, we had a guy that was in Hitch.
I mean, I was in the Wall Street. I mean, listen, I would walk into a conference room with a room full of corporate executives and hold my own, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's a level of diplomatic that you have to be.
Oh, yeah.
In that position, right? And I have since carried that over into the music industry,
right.
Which the people that work with me know. So I'm learning to like shed that a little bit, be a little more chill.
Yeah, this is a little bit different.
It's different.
I wish I could remember the line because it's so funny. And Hitch,
Yeah.
He's like, power suit, power tie, because he was trying to get laid and pay Will Smith to get him laid. And he's like, I don't do that. And he goes, look here, buddy, with the check. He's got the fucking check. Power suit, power tie, power shoes, power dick, whatever the fuck he says. And Will's like, I don't do that. You know,
oh my God,
that's a good movie.
So funny.
That one might be a paying job.
Oh man.
So when do you guys first make your first track together?
So we already have a record together.
Mm-hmm.
I brought Bismarck in. I had produced a record for a multi-platinum artist. It was the first multi-platinum artist that came to me, right? And he came to me because of my song Simia that I had put out. And he had heard that and seen the video, I guess through mutual friends. And he was like, yeah, you know, I want you to remake one of my songs on my old record because I'm hitting a 25-year, mark or whatever.
And he reached out to you.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. We met.
Right.
He's in Palm Beach all the time. Like, you see the same people. It's a very small town, right? And so we had crossed circles and we had met. I don't even remember exactly where. It was through mutual friends or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I took that seriously because I was like, okay, this is a big opportunity for me, to really like come up with a club version of a really badass song. You know what I mean? So he had sent me an acapella and he's like, listen, he's like, one of his acapellas from, his multi-platinum album. Right. And it wasn't his biggest song, but it was up there. And he sent me the acapella, and he's like, I want a fresh club version of this. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I produced a song for it, and I came back, and he heard it, and he was like, you know what? I actually want to give you a different acapella, I think. And he gave me an acapella that was even bigger for it. And he's like, I actually wanted, can you do something similar for this one? I don't think he realized, he didn't expect the production, I think, to be that good. And so anyway, the long and short of it is I made a really badass record. I love the record. The record turned out really awesome. And I came back and I played it for him, and he loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I get the contract, and I'm like, no. Like, at the end of the day, I'm from a business standpoint, and I know what a good deal is and what a not, And I was
not
like,
a moron, is what you're saying.
I'm not a moron.
Just because I'm a girl, I'm not a moron.
I've got the blonde hair and I'm a woman, but
I'm smart.
But I'm fucking smart when it comes to business,
Yeah.
right? And so I got the contract, and I called him back, and I just said, well, I mean, that doesn't make sense for me, I mean, and I came back with a proposed, in terms of numbers, and he was like, and he just beat me up, made me feel like I was, and I was like, you know what? You're not selling the records. Like, I know what your worth is, right? And this song is this good because of the production, right? And this not only, I had already had a couple DJs were like, dude, I would spin that, you know what I mean? And we went back and forth. Anyway, he wouldn't move on the night, and he didn't expect me to walk. I just ended up walking. I was like, you know what, it's all good. So I took his acapella off, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to shelf this. And my point is I didn't think I would end up doing anything with the song. And then I got the song. I got an idea, and I was like, because I was so aggravated because the song was so fucking good. And I was like, dude, and I didn't like the idea of taking it, that I had produced it for him. I didn't like the idea of now just like slapping some other vocal on it and releasing it to the world, because that's not how I operate.
Now, did he hear it? Had he heard a part of it?
Oh, he heard the song.
Okay, he did.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
He wanted that song so bad, and I said, listen, let's sign the deal, and I'll, Anyway, it's a long story. I'm not going to get into details about that on the podcast, just because
you don't want to burn bridges.
Yeah, no, whatever. It's not that. It's just there's more to the story, and it was a really eye-opening experience. He ended up getting the file out of my phone behind my back. Yeah.
That's a nice start to the industry, right?
Yeah. So it was a really horrible. It was actually kind of a horrific experience, right? And that was my first experience with a multi-platinum artist, right? And so I came out of that whole experience really low.
Were you questioning everything?
Pissed. Like, I mean, I was angry. I was, I felt slighted, and I just was like, I saw how ugly it could be. And I mean, this is an artist that has been to prison a couple times. I mean, this is like, this is the street, right? And this is the industry, right? It's like, welcome to the music industry, Cassie, Yeah. And it's all good because I have a thick skin. Like, I can fucking take it, right? But I was like, dude, like, so because I was frustrated with that, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I literally couldn't sleep one night, and I was like, you know what? I should take that fucking song, and I should make it about the frustration I feel about being a brand new indie artist in the industry. And I was like, you know what? That's the title of the fucking song.
I like that.
Indie
I like
artist.
that. It's kind of like
indie
a slap in his face, right?
Indie artist.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I was like, I'm only gonna bring indie artists. I literally, because I was like, there's this whole thing in the music industry. It's like, oh, don't work with anyone that doesn't have at least 1 million followers, or don't work with anyone that doesn't have at least, or we're not going to talk to that person. When she gets a platinum record, then we'll take her call. But we're not going to talk to you. Like, who are you? You're not good enough for us yet, right? There's a lot of that going on, right? And I was like, you know what? I want to bring a rapper on this song, and I'm going to find a rapper that literally has 0 followers. Not 0, but
not many.
Not many,
yeah.
Right? And I literally, like, this is a record that's going to be, you know what, guys? Because I love like proving people wrong. I'm like, you know what?
I've arrived.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to really fucking do it. And and Bismarck, the saxophone was not on the record. I never had a sax on the record. But during this time, guess who was such a good friend to me and supportive friend? Was this guy.
I can see that.
When I was going through all this shit, Bismarck was like the light, And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking bring him in on this record. Just to bring him in on the record. He's an amazing sax. I was like, I don't picture this beat with a sax, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. We're going to put some sax on it. We're going to see and it sounds amazing. Incorporated in the bridge. And we literally, we all went to breakfast and I was like, guys, you know what? We're going to fucking split the record. We're going to split the record. I don't give a fuck what people in the industry tell me or recommend I should do. We split it. And the label got a piece because the label's funding a lot of, you know what I mean? But we split it as if we were 4 entities and called it a day. We were like, you know what? We're going to have fun with this record because that's just what I fucking want to do with it. And that's the beautiful thing about being an indie label and an indie artist. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? And the beautiful thing about it is it's a record that I don't give a fuck if we put it out and nobody listens to it. I don't give a fuck because it just feels so fucking amazing to do it.
But that's how you know that you love what you're doing because you don't care. But that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because that means in time everything will work out because you love it either way.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's so funny. It's been the opposite. So the small handful of people that have heard the song, they're like, dude, Cassie, that's your best song. And I'm like,
do you have it out here yet?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's
not. She's holding on to it.
Out
yet. She's playing that fucking game,
but
huh?
You guys, I'll send it to you when we drop. But it's fucking.
When are you gonna tell me when you're gonna drop it?
It was mixed by Lou Diaz. Lou mixed it.
Oh yeah, dude, talk about Lou.
Lou, shout out to Lou and his beautiful wife Annette. They're amazing. I don't know if you know who Lou and Annette. No. Lou is one of the Diaz brothers out of Miami. Lou and his brother, awesome guy. Gosh, you can't even quote me because I don't know how many Grammys he's won. I think 9.
Oh wow, really?
9, yeah.
What's his name?
Lou Diaz.
And who?
Yeah, shout out Lou. Lou's awesome. His wife is amazing. They're so sweet. They're great. And then my master engineer also is a Grammy Award winning engineer, Mike Fuller. And Mike, mastered, Music for the Win for me, and he's gonna master indie artists.
Is that him there?
That is not.
No, that would be a DEA agent.
It's not Louis. It's not Louis. Just do LU. He goes by LU.
Right there.
There you go. Mix engineer, producer.
Go ahead, click
Lou
on him.
Diaz.
Give him a shout out. Go ahead.
Lou just redid his website too. And there he is. There's the man.
There's Lou Diaz.
50 platinum and gold. Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy.
Lou is a badass mix engineer.
Obviously.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. He mixed Simia for me, Music for the Win.
He's
my
living
real
all right.
friends. He mixed.
That's 50 million. And gold is what, 100,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
3-time Grammy Award winner.
Yeah.
I think he's been nominated more than that. I think he's been nominated more and won 3. But anyway, my point is...
I think Lou's doing pretty damn
good.
It's
just badass to be like, I won a Grammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Lou's a badass. Lou's awesome.
You walk around and be like, yeah, my name's Lou. I won a Grammy. Who the fuck are you?
oh, what do you do to your life? I won a Grammy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
"Damn, my life sucks. I won a fucking Grammy.
Right?
Yeah. You know, he
Yes.
comes in, I'm sitting here, podcast
Yep.
retard guy. So, hey, Lou, how are you? I won a Grammy. Okay, see you
Oh.
later. Going home. Let me go put the
No,
covers
and
over
Mike,
my head.
and Mike, you may as well. We got to do Mike Fuller and his wife Marilee.
All right, let's pull Mike Fuller.
Okay, I have a funny story. I can't like Marilee is so funny. So that's Lou and Annette, and then Mike Fuller. It's actually Fuller Sound. No, that's not him.
No, not that guy.
I think it's fullersound.com. If you do Mike Fuller Master Engineer, fullersound.com, I think. Yeah.
This is it?
Yeah, this is it. If you hit engineer, I'm sure you can probably see
Right
him.
next to home? Right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's his studio. Yeah, that's Mike.
That's him. Okay.
So Mike and his wife Marilee, I remember when I first started putting my music out, and I asked Lou, I was like, because Lou was like, listen, Cassie, I'll mix it, but I'm not a master engineer.
He's big time. Rod Stewart?
No, he did Eagles, Julio Iglesias,
Julio.
Bee Gees.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
Okay, Mike Fuller was at
Kenny Rogers?
Mike Fuller was at Hit Factory in Miami. He was the master. He was an engineer at Hit Factory for like 15 years.
Dirty Dancing too. Shit.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Cassie. But
Wow.
this guy's
Dirty
we got you
I
got
love shouting out my engineers.
Rick Ross.
I'm gonna have to tell them to listen to the podcast
Yeah.
now.
Rick Ross, Young Dro.
No, I know,
Morgan
I
Heritage,
know.
Don
Timberland.
Shout out Rick
Omar,
Ross.
We're trying to
Waiting
give him a
on the
plug while
Boss
you
Babe
talk.
weekend.
Daddy
Rick Ross.
Gang.
Rick Ross, by the way, has an awesome book out. Rick is the man.
We can't shout the guy out.
What?
Cassie, we're trying to shout the guy out.
Okay, but yeah, no.
Go ahead, Rob.
I mean, let's just go through some of the names here. Eric Clapton. Clapton.
You know, he used to
Clapton.
walk around with a recorder, and whenever he would hear those sounds in his head, he would go, and then he would turn it into.
I believe that. I do that with my
They walk
phone.
around with
Damian
the-
Marley,
That's-
Timbaland, Don Omar, Azuna, Nicky Jam, Daddy Yankee.
This is who's
George
mastering our
Clinton.
song,
Yeah,
Bismarck.
fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He knows.
This guy's a powerhouse here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna get. I mean, I'm sure there are, but he's definitely big.
No, Lou and Mike are like, yeah,
Dirty
they're.
Dancing. Holy, I
Yeah,
mean
I love
that's.
that.
I mean that's.
I know.
That's a fucking huge deal.
I know.
Yeah.
I just remember one of my proudest moments was when Mike sent me Music for the Win. So my song Music for the Win, he mastered. So Lou mixed it, Mike mastered it. And
If you got this guy, girl, you got nothing to worry about.
yeah, no, I know, right?
And him.
And then when they
I didn't forget about you, Bismarck.
when Mike sent me Music for the Win back, they were calling, he and Lou were, because we were all on a chain and, they were communicating. Mike's like, I turned the levels up, Lou. I don't know. Let me know if you think the levels are too high. And because they really work well together, right? Because one mixes, the other masters, right? And Mike, they were calling Music for the Win a hot record. He's like, this is a hot record. So I'm like, if Mike Fuller's calling it a hot record,
Look, if you got
I'm like, and that's my favorite song. That was like,
look, bottom line, if you got Mike Fuller behind you, I don't think you got too much to worry about.
yeah.
You think this
Mike's
guy's
a good
gonna take
guy.
some Joe Schmo?
Yeah, it's so funny.
No.
But it's so funny when I first called Mike, because Lou was like, Cassie, I'll mix, but I don't master, but I work with Mike Fuller. Because I asked him, I said, who would you recommend? Like and he goes, what I can do is I'll mix it and then I'll send it directly to Mike. So I called up Mike, and his wife Marilee answers the phone, and I'm talking to her. I introduced myself, and I was like, God, I'm just, I forget what we were talking about. She was asking me about the music, and I was like, yeah, I've got this song, and it's killer. And she starts laughing. She's like, oh my God. She goes, I'm so happy you used the word killer. She goes, I haven't heard. She goes, she's like, I'm getting these kids that are like, hey, I've got a dope sound, like I got this record's really sick. I got to send it over to you. And she's like,
so you actually have proper English.
yeah, no, she was like, God, she's like, I missed the word killer. She's like, so we laughed about it. So I was like, Marilee, if I ever win a Grammy, I'm getting up there and be like, Marilee, it was a killer record. You know what I mean?
Now,
So
you've met Mike Fuller too?
No.
No?
No, Bismarck just, but my point is our record that I'm brought Bismarck on that he now owns a quarter of. is being mastered by Mike.
And then do you have a release date, or you don't know yet?
No, we've been bouncing this. I've had a lot of like stuff. It's all been good. Opportunistic stuff happen.
Good. She's tapped into her instinct strategically.
Yeah, I've tapped into my instinct. So my gut is usually pretty good. And my gut was like, I'm going to hold off on this. And then I've got a couple meetings coming up that I want to kind of time the release with
this
those
is
meetings.
Your big one. You think this?
Well, it's
traction one.
It's not that it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it off this. I mean, I have so much music. I have 170 something records.
Can you tell me why you do songs? My favorite artist is Chris Brown, right? He's got
shout out to Chris.
I love Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Chris is a badass.
Badass. He can rap. He can dance. He can sing.
He and G-Eazy.
Yeah, he and G-Eazy. They did another one together.
They did. Yeah, they flipped.
I got Chris Brown songs in my head right now. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm bobbing my head.
They flipped
my whole
her
playlist
turn
is
of the
Chris
mat.
Brown. I have a picture over there.
Yeah, no, Chris and G are awesome.
Yeah, too cool. Two cool guys. Now,
Yeah.
but why do you guys hold on to all that? So, I know Chris Brown has what's his name was telling us because Lucas. We had a guy in that knows him like pretty not.
Yeah.
Super tight, but knows him. And he's actually said it in his documentary. He's got like 2,000 or 3,000 songs on a hard drive that he
I
just
believe
doesn't
that. I mean, if I already have 170, and I mean, we're talking like my first 6 months, I was still kind of like learning, right? So it's not like I've had a full solid 2 years. So really, it's been like in a little over a year, I've done 100 songs.
And she's got an engineer like this behind her. You better get on this gravy train, pal.
Yeah. I need to start letting go of some.
You better get on that fucking train. That horn's too.
I think what even makes these gentlemen even better to have somebody that's like in both worlds. Like you have to look over the last 20, 30 years, technology, digitalization has progressed so much. You have people who have just started now who only know a certain way. They're also, you look at the names and the years of talent that they've come around. They know the old school way, they know the new school way. So the fusion of that knowledge is priceless. So I think their value is even more, right? Yeah,
I mean these guys have been in the industry for over 30 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean like it's like, Lou, I love it when Lou sends me a mix back, right? He'll send me a mix back, and it's like, my God, like, dude, you're the GOAT, man. So he's like, yeah, tell me, which version do you like? He'll send me like 2 mixes and he's like, tell me which one, because I took a different spin with each one. And I'm like, how do I pick? You're the GOAT, man. I don't give a shit. You pick. Which one do you like? And that's the winner.
I can understand that because you're with a guy like that asking you, and you're like, you pick, man.
I mean,
you're the one
anybody else. And for me to say that because I'm such a...
Well, you'd be a moron not to say it, right? I mean, with a guy like that, let him pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, I think anybody would.
Yeah,
it's even like the most independent person ever.
The only change I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll bump the volume up. It's like little minor volume bumps. It's like the only change I've ever had to do.
So Bismarck, who's your favorite artist overall other than Cassie?
Stop.
And not like Saxophone.
Dead Mouse is up there.
Dead Mouse?
Yeah,
is that the ticket?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, let me think about this one.
While he thinks, who's your favorite artist? Besides yourself. Who?
G-Eazy.
G-Eazy?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I love Missy Elliott as well. That
was back in the day, yeah. Remember the big rain suit thing?
I love Missy.
What the fuck
so
Umbrella or something.
Yeah.
I come from the world of enjoying music rather than making it, right? Because I've been a fan for my whole life, not necessarily in the industry, right? I have followed or been attracted to artists because of their story and their journey and who they are as people. You know what I mean? People that, people that do a phenomenal job of being in the industry but not forsaking their humanity, their level of humanity, or their ability to connect with the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, specifically once you get to be so successful, like a Chris Brown or G-Eazy or Missy or Deadmau5 or whatever the case is, it's like, it's so easy to get that successful and forget what it's like to connect with,
a lot of it's just blah, 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 blah now. That's why I like G-Eazy so much. I like him a lot. I went to 2 concerts when he was with, he opened for Chris Brown in Tampa one time, and he opened for Brown in, I flew somewhere to see him.
Nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, they were there. But every one of G-Eazy's songs and every single one of Chris Brown's song, all is a story.
Yeah, it's a story.
And every one
and
means
real.
something. It's a full story from beginning to end. I just don't understand why the hell he doesn't put them on the album. I don't know if it's the label, because he puts them out on YouTube and they're bangers. I mean, there's probably 20 songs that would smash anything out there right now by Chris Brown. Whether you like them or not, you can't not like these.
I know. Gerald's the same way. Like
the same way with Easy.
Yeah.
And they put them on YouTube, but then the album isn't that great that comes out. I mean, it's good, but what they're putting out on YouTube is better.
Have you heard the new album?
I have, but he's got better overall. He's got more on YouTube that's better. Say you take G-Eazy and he's got 300 songs on YouTube, and then his album I think had 21 or 16 or 21. Out of the 300 on YouTube that haven't been released, you could easily pick.
No, I mean I've listened to all of them. Yeah. No, I mean
I just don't understand why.
An album is a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To answer your question, I look at albums. I think like a lot of people look at albums. It's not it. When an artist puts together a collection of, whether it be 10 to 20 songs, right, on a specific album, they're intentionally sharing with you specific songs in a specific order. They're marrying them together. I think a lot of you'll notice a lot of sounds are married together through the songs on the album. Some of that's done in the mastering process, in the mix and master process, of just kind of marrying everything together. It's a beautiful piece of art. It's not like you don't look at an album and say, okay, I want the top 10 radio hits and I'm going to throw them on an album together and sell it for $14. You know what I mean? It's like your really good songs that are standalone songs, do you want to include it on that specific piece of art? Maybe it's emotional. Maybe maybe it's during a different emotional time in the artist's life. Maybe it's, maybe it encompasses a theme that, you know what I mean?
Saying. So in other words, the reason why a lot of these are put on YouTube and not
because that's a single. I mean, listen, now you're look, it's driving traffic to the YouTube. I mean, there's so many different reasons for why you release music the way you do and why you group music together or why you sit on music. I have reasons why I'm sitting on music. I've produced songs that I have maybe like I would say 7 songs right now that are in my computer that I know are hit songs. Like I'm like I would dance my ass off to the song. You know what I mean? And I don't say that about my own music. Right. If I know that I would dance my ass off to my own song, then I know that other people are going to dance their ass off to it, right? But I'm sitting on a lot of this work because I have an idea to bring somebody on to do it. You know what I mean? So there's some
the time. It's a timing issue.
It's a timing thing. And
I finally got the answer for once out of a gazillion people that asked, because now I understand why Brown doesn't do it. Because like if his album's called Heartbreak on a Full Moon or Indigo, the whole album is about heartbreak.
Of course.
And then there's a couple bangers that he throws in there, but then the other stuff he throws on YouTube and gets a couple million views or 10 or 20 million.
Exactly.
It probably makes more.
These guys are smart guys.
Yeah.
Chris and Jerry, we're talking, these are smart guys.
Yeah, they're close.
Yeah. So, an artist they're doing something for a reason.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. I mean, I was supposed to release my album. I was supposed to drop my album literally the week prior to all this Black Lives Matters stuff.
Well, weren't you supposed to do 2 albums and 4 singles by the end of 2021?
I was supposed to, right? And they're done. Like I could go home and upload them tonight, right? But now I realize I don't want to just put them out and have them sit and parked. Like there's certain campaigns I want to do behind some. I have some ideas for some that correspond with like my live performances that I'm planning.
Right. You want to promo it. You want to sizzle it.
There's a specific song I want to debut at a big show because I have a really badass marketing idea that I want to incorporate with the release. That's a huge money that could propel it into the millions, right? So it's like I have ideas for music that I want to execute, right? But my point is I was like, there's no way I'm going to drop my album and highlight myself during this environment right now. You know what I mean? And I was like, number one, first and foremost, I don't feel right as a human being doing that, right? I come from Atlanta. I grew up not seeing skin color. You know what I mean? I have friends that are mixed couples. Yeah. I've got, you know what I mean? Like people are people to me. It's no different than I look at artists and fans. You know, it's like I don't see celebrities. You know what I mean? Like George Clooney could be sitting here. He's just George to me, right?
Don't give me that.
I've met George. George is a nice guy. No, it's exciting to me.
But you didn't think, but like, it's not damn, he's a good-looking guy.
You know, of course. But my point.
Who's the best? Who's the best-looking actor? Okay, I'll give you 3 choices: Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp when he's not whacked out on drugs.
Why are we asking?
George Clooney,
Matthew McConaughey,
and Matthew McConaughey. I forgot. Out of those 4, who would you pick?
Out of those 4, who would I pick?
Who do you think she'll pick?
Bradley
Bismarck?
Cooper. Bradley Cooper too.
Oh yeah, but gotta throw Bradley Cooper in there. Who's she gonna pick? Bismarck.
I'm gonna go with Matthew McConaughey.
I hung out with Jude Law.
I'm not talking about Jude Law. I gave you 5 questions. I gave you 5.
I always thought he was the cutest growing up, and then I met him, and he doesn't date celebrities. So I actually was joking, and he's like, "Yeah, let's hang out." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I don't know. Probably Johnny Depp, I guess. I don't know.
My man Donnie Brasco.
Wow.
I don't know.
You ever see the movie Donnie Brasco?
No. I know. I need to see more movies.
Donnie Brasco.
Busy making music. She can't be watching movies.
Gotta take a break. Gotta take a break for Donnie Brasco.
170.
No time for movies.
So now on your Spotify here, you got music FTW. What's your favorite one?
So music is for the win. I did the FTW on purpose because I was like, because everyone was like, what is that? Fuck the world. But what, you know? And I was like, I kind of like that people don't know what it is. It's music for the win. There was a strategic
and that's the number of listens right now? That's the number of like views or listens right here?
That's downloads, right?
That's streams. Streams. Yeah. Wow. I'd have to go into my analytics to see downloads.
And, just as a shout out to, her diversity as an artist, you see music and streaming, there's more to it. Like having music in film, having music on Netflix, there's so much more to music and business.
Simia is my reggae. That's the reggae mix song that I was talking about.
Okay.
And
that's when.
So Simia was the record when I was supposed to put my record out. I was like, or my album out. I was like, okay, I'm halting what I'm doing, right? Because it's not the climate right now.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? It's not. Like, not only that, but that it puts a bad taste in my mouth. So to some little, it's just right now is not the time. And I mean, you guys remember how heightened everything was. And I'm from Atlanta. I've got a lot of friends in Atlanta. I mean, there was a lot of shit going on in Atlanta, during all of this. And I was like, you know what? What feels right is to take a Jamaican artist and push him out into the spotlight. And that's what I did with Simia. So I dropped Simia instead of putting my album out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put out that single And we did a music video. We shot it, down in Miami, and it was fun. It was cool. It's about diversity. It was so cool. And Vortex is a force, man. The guy can spit a bar like you wouldn't believe. Vortex is.
Well, that's the great thing about being independent, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to put it out now. You can put it out when the time is right.
I don't answer to anyone, dude. I could put it out 10 years. I mean, I don't answer to anyone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like.
And same with you. You don't have to answer to anybody, right?
In many ways.
In many ways. Okay, we'll leave it at that, I guess. Go to her homepage, Rob.
Yep.
And break us down the homepage, Cassie, here.
Homepage?
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I need to update this.
That's okay.
Actually.
That's a great picture.
But yeah. Yeah, it's cool, right? So this is in the suit. That's Duvon sitting next to me.
Shout out to Duvon.
Yeah, Duvon's cool. Yeah, this talks about my bio. God, yeah, I even highlight. So I was an actress in LA for a couple of years. A lot of people don't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I lived out in LA.
Wow, that's cool.
Did you know that? Oh, you did? Okay.
Are you gonna?
I don't ever talk about it, but people are like, "Wait, you were in what?"
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, "There's more." Read the book.
She reminds me of LA all the way.
Yeah,
I used to go to Lakers games out there. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I lived in the Hollywood Hills, right where Mulholland meets Woodrow Wilson.
Did you?
Yeah, literally like right at the top of Laurel Canyon. So I used to go to Runyon. I used to run in Runyon Park all the time.
I used to go there every Thursday to Sunday when the Lakers had home games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I used to fly in and fly back to Pennsylvania. I like the homepage, though. Are you going to add merchandise to it?
Yeah, merch is on there. Actually, you know what? Click on it. I don't know if...
Yeah,
it didn't work. It didn't work.
Okay, I'm redoing the merch site. Literally this week, I hired a company. Yeah, I had all kinds of merch ideas.
Good.
So, yeah.
And then go to her Instagram. And then explain some of these pictures here, Cassie.
Let's scroll down a little bit. Yeah, no, I mean, it's all music related. You can see.
Play that one up there. Go back up, Rob.
I went and saw G-Eazy out in Red Rocks. That was an amazing show. I had never been to Red Rocks. No? That was my number. Have you guys been to Red Rocks?
No, I want to go there so bad.
No,
oh my God, that was my number one venue.
Now, what is Dinner with Cassie Moore?
Cassie, that's me.
Fuck. I mean, I almost made it.
Okay, it's like ass with a C.
I got you.
Cassie. Now you won't ever mispronounce it.
Right.
Cassie.
Cassie.
Or Cassandra.
Cassie.
Or Cassandra if you're nasty.
So the one with Bismarck.
Yeah.
It says at the dinner table, right?
That was a podcast that we did.
This is a podcast? Okay.
Yeah, that was a podcast that we did.
Cool.
Yeah, it's all flippy floppy. I need to, you know what I mean? The first moment I can hire someone to do my social media for me, I probably will do that. But no, if you scroll down,
sure.
We had right around here, if you'll go up a little. Sorry, we had, or actually okay. Scroll down.
I saw it too.
Yeah. Sorry. God, that's my friend Avery. She's gonna hate me for life. She's gonna be like, "What is that?" That was Girls' Day. Girls' Day on the boat.
Girls' Day out.
Yeah, Girls' Day out, man. Okay, so if you see the opening act, I had submitted music to perform out in LA, and
that one there.
No, that was our first concert that we did. Up one, yeah, there you go, opening act, that one. So we were opening act is this, they raise money for mental health.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's Audacy. Anyway, but they had done. It's a competition, right? So you submit your music, and if they approve you to be involved, then you get people ranked and voting for you. And then if we had won, we would have performed. We would have opened up for lineup, a pretty solid lineup. I think it was like Shawn Mendes and Black Eyed Peas.
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Was it Coldplay? Yeah, it was Shawn Mendes, Coldplay, and
that would have been killer, huh?
Yeah, I know, but we didn't get it. So
you'll get it.
Play
that right there, Rob. Play that one right here. Yeah.
That is. Oh, this is my video. This is in New York. This was when I started learning production. So I flew up.
Pull that up, bro.
Yeah, so I flew up. This is not one of my songs, by the way. It's just one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
it's not my song. Yeah. No. God, no. It's one of my favorite songs.
Keep going, Rob.
So anyway, but yeah, we went there. There I am, literally walking in New York by myself. Scary ass peanut M&M, but went into the studio and was like, okay, guys, I want to make, literally said this. I was like, okay, I want to make my own music. Like, where the fuck do I start? You know, I mean,
and then it all happened, right?
And then it happened, you know? So I literally it all started in New York at the window. I was standing at the window in New York when I got my album idea of what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to open it up with Music for the Win. And then they were like, Cassie, you need to be documenting all of this stuff that's evolving, that you're like these decisions and learning, like this is all going to be valuable to you someday. You should document it. And I hate taking selfies. I hate videos of myself. Like you guys have no idea. I am not one of those girls. We've been calling it, my friends and I, over the past 2 weeks, we've been calling it Cassiopeia syndrome. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Serendipity, but I swear to God, there's something about my fiber and my being that is so hard for me to like, I don't know. I feel so vain, like, and which is not a good thing because as an artist, part of being an artist is promoting yourself.
Bismarck, you better get her over that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm getting over it, but it's like people say, what's the hardest thing for you? And I'm like, dude, putting myself out there. Like I had a photo shoot done and some of these pictures are actually being used for my album. And like I look hot. Like I had no idea that I could actually look good like that, right? I'm like, holy fuck, like these are probably the best pictures I've ever had. You know, because I don't have professional sexy photos taken of me ever, right?
Well, you worked with suits for 15 years.
I wore a power suit, and then it's like my Instagram is all pictures of my friends and people I love, and why would I plaster myself all over my Instagram, you know? Like that's why these influencers or these models that it's like, look at me, like that's all I can think of when I see these Instagrams, and I'm like, dude, I am so not like that, right? So anyway, my point with that is they were like, you need to document this stuff. And it was so weird for me to film myself. But I actually got in the habit of recording myself when I make music. So a lot of most of my songs that I've made, I've recorded the process. So I have hours and hours and hours of.
It's what?
It's a diary.
Yeah,
it is. It's a video diary. So, and it's actually it came into play in a couple occasions where, you know, people were like, oh, did you create that? Like, did you actually make that? It's like, oh, here you go.
Keep documenting that because you know why? Because when you pop, you turn it into a book and then you turn it into a documentary.
Yeah, it's cool. So
that's what you do.
It's like, so now
you should too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're very rare. You know, saxophone player, you know, big time, you know, like that. You should document what you do too.
So speaking of that,
picturing Bismarck documenting
I can't picture that.
I'm picturing Bismarck documenting on the yacht with all the girls.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, he can just get one of the girls on the yacht to document.
Sax Gone Wild.
I'm gonna have to fucking take English. If I'm gonna keep doing YouTube, I gotta do English. Go to Bismarck's Instagram.
That was the night, by the way.
We'll go back.
Oh no! That picture of me in the ponytail. That was the night. That was Dead Mouse night at 11. No, not that one. The picture. There you go. That's the night that we were at 11.
That was the night.
That was the night.
It says 11 Miami.
Yep, that was it.
And your Instagram is. Cassie Moore. Go back.
What is it?
Scroll back up.
What is it?
It's Cassie.
What is it?
Cassie Moore. Cassie Moore music. And
Tommy,
I think I'm dyslexic.
I'm gonna fuck with you every time you mess up.
I seriously, I'm starting to think I'm fucking dyslexic. You think I'm dyslexic?
I don't think you're not dyslexic.
Wait, dyslexic.
I just can't pronounce
What'd
it.
What'd you get in English class? Grammar?
Oh, terrible.
You failed?
Well, I didn't really pay attention.
Oh.
Tommy, you're the one person that's allowed to call me Cassandra then.
Cassandra.
Cassandra's easier.
That's way easier.
Okay.
I was good at math though, and science. Everything else terrible. But it is Cassie Moore Music for Instagram, and then go back to our website. And then the website is moremusiclabel.com. And then Spotify, Cassie Moore. See, I just nailed 3 in a row.
There you go.
And Bismarck Morgan. That's 4 in a row.
Bismarck Sax.
Bismarck Sax.
Louis.
Busy on the yacht.
What's going on here, Bismarck? What you got going on? I saw this one earlier today.
Oh my God.
What are you doing there, buddy? Getting yourself in trouble?
I'm just loving life. It's just so much. Like, that's my friend in the glasses with the DJing. He's from South Africa. We're on this yacht. It's 60-foot it's kind of near Las Olas. We're kind of in this big area where everyone likes to anchor. And the girl in the middle is a friend of his girlfriend. Really cool, super chill. Caught her in a great moment, makes that picture what it is.
It looks like she's mad at her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Interpretational moment, I think. I mean,
she don't look too happy. I mean, if she's got a boyfriend, I don't want to be him.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, so it was a beautiful day, playing the sax in the moment there. And we have a video reel of this to come out, but that was a snapshot of the day. It was a great day.
Right.
Great day.
I know you got to have a new one on one of them yachts, Bismarck. Well, there you're on a boat.
Oh, that's, I tell you.
What?
Tough life.
Life is good.
Tough life there, buddy. You got 1, 2, 3. You got 6 broads and a dog with you.
And a dog.
You know.
And your sax.
Yeah.
I love not encouraging these moments because that wasn't even my idea. It was someone else. Another great friend on the boat that wanted to take that picture. And,
Liar.
Well,
He was thankful for it, though.
I was thankful.
I bet he was.
It made the gram.
I bet he was thankful. See, I think those pictures are cool like that, like just having the sax like that.
Oh, that was an experience.
What's that?
If you go up into the middle, either one of those, there's a still and I think a video.
Play the video, Rob.
Yep.
No problem. You got on you. Yeah.
Very short.
Where's this at?
So that's a hidden gem. Hidden gem in Texas.
I like when the beat kicks in.
I know. That's a teaser too. It's gonna drop. It's a little snap
right now.
Was that the trip that you saw the bunny?
All right.
Or no?
Oh, you just put a little teaser.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that is in a place called Westlake Hills in Texas. It's on the outskirts of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And to get I remember the Uber drive up the hills to get there. Like my ears popping a little bit because you climb up
elevation,
and it's just like all these twists and turns and to see the engineering of the houses built up there, crazy. But a friend I met years ago, I met his brother and stayed connected with him. He got married at their family's house, infinity pool, and then those buildings in the background is Austin downtown. But it's unreal
the scenery.
Oh, God.
I mean, you look like you're in Hollywood Hills almost.
I could, yeah. It's amazing. What can I say?
I just have them a little thing so they don't fall.
Yeah, no,
for their plastic cells. It's Kanye West.
That is Kanye. Okay.
Yeah, that's Joe Rogan as a UFC announcer. Kanye West, Biggie, Tupac, and then the Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I thought that was Kanye. It just reminded me of a picture I saw today.
Go back to his Instagram quick. I want to get one on a yacht. Do we have one on a yacht since you've been
actually, I could, at very top, the very first one.
Right there, play that.
You like this one?
This is the one I like. This is the one. This is my jam.
I love this one.
What a better way to...
And the music, too. Right.
Peace. Yeah, we could do the Carlton to this motherfucker. That's sick, man. That's sick. Now that's life. That's living life.
Look at
Fuck. Now that's a drone shot, right, Rob?
Yeah, that's lovely. Love it.
That's killer.
Love it.
So that's Bismarck Sax. That's his Instagram. All this will be in the description. Is there anything else you guys want to promote, or you won't give me a release date or anything? You'll let me know.
Yeah, no, I think we're still deciding. We've got there's a couple things I want to, we're still deciding. It'll be soon.
Well, whenever you guys put something out, text me one of you.
Absolutely.
Let me know. I'll
for sure. Oh, for sure. I'm
Thank you.
gonna time. Yeah, Indie Artist is gonna be timed with a meeting that I have coming up.
Awesome.
So,
I want to hear it.
And it's just it's smarter. It's just smarter for me to sit on it another couple months. You know, it's not a big deal.
I think you two together will kill, man. Kill.
So you said Chris Brown. You said who?
She never gave me an answer.
Who was your favorite?
No, my favorite. I mean, listen, I have a lot of favorites. I think in terms of respect and music catalog and production and all that, I'd say G-Eazy.
And Bismarck, what did you say?
And he
Thundercat.
Thundercat. I wrote down 5.
What's your 5?
Wait, Thundercat.
Oh yeah.
So these are in no
Thundercat.
6. Sorry, no particular order. Well, sort of a particular order. Number 1, Whitney Houston, favorite of all.
Oh yeah. Whitney's amazing.
Celine Dion. I know, so I'm going all women here, so be careful. Mariah Carey, but she dropped on my list.
Ooh.
I used to like Mariah, but she dropped.
She dropped for me too.
And then I got Usher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usher was my old neighbor in Atlanta.
Ah, man,
Usher's little boy went to daycare with my daughter. Yeah, in Atlanta, and little Usher fourth, so cute. But yeah, I know, and he's such a nice dude. Usher is such a nice dude. I mean, he'd show up, donuts for dads, like.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, picking up. Oh yeah, no. Usher was a super nice dude.
He was the one in college that the girls. That was the remember when Burn came out?
Yeah, Burn.
That was like the song when I was in college.
And with Lil Jon. Yeah, that was huge.
And then
I remember being in Hawaii in Maui actually, and just dancing my ass off to Yeah.
Oh my God!
I mean, it was like, huge. And that was That was so many years.
Burn was huge. Burn was a monster. And then what was the one he came out with?
Confessions.
Confessions. That was the one.
Confessions.
Oh, I got murdered with that one. Oh, jeez, that brings back.
That's crazy.
And that was the last one is the all-time Philly. Who's the all-time Philly band? Who do you think? Who am I thinking of?
All-time Philly band. Philly. Freeway.
Nope.
Don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, how do you get to have multiple artists?
Oh, it's hard.
He's the fucking engineer. You got to get what he wants, so he's not going to hit the buttons right.
How do
you get Witter Whitney?
Okay, listen.
Celine?
You want him to hit fucking Bismarck when you're talking?
Okay, listen. I will tell you. Swedish House Mafia did a show in the UK that was like their final show. Have you guys ever watched that? No. If you YouTube anything, that I'm telling you.
Who is it?
Guys...
Swedish House Mafia?
Swedish House Mafia. I have no idea.
You don't know who Swedish House Mafia is?
Listen, I work and listen to Chris Brown. What do you want me to do?
Tell me.
I work, listen to Chris Brown, and stay out of trouble.
You know who Swedish. If I played you a couple songs, you'd know.
Probably, maybe then.
Fuck
Motown Philly back again. Jeez.
No voices back in that time period. They didn't need music. They just did
Boys to Men.
They have a really cool story.
Were very good to me.
Did you guys ever watch that documentary? Actually, which documentary were they in? Actually, I think it was maybe the first Britney Spears documentary. I don't know. It kind of no. It was a documentary Netflix did on pop music.
I didn't say I'd like to watch that.
I'm a nerd with my music documentaries.
I met them one time.
Yeah.
I was at a Sixers game and I'm standing there and I look to my left. I'm like, holy shit, it's Boys to Men. I'm in my 18 at the time. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'll go, hey, you mind taking a picture? Man, those guys were cool as shit. Yeah, come on over, man.
They seem really nice.
I
love that.
On Bended Knee? Oh.
Yeah, I love it when artists are just so nice like that. It was like,
and I get it. They're always hassled too.
They're all.
Somebody on a bad day.
If you catch them at the right time, and you know what I mean, if you're always respectful and all that, you know.
I can't believe I didn't remember that. Boys to Men. Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Because that was all the time, and then the guy with the deep voice was just like a perfect mix of that.
I know.
And you'd be like, how did they get this to work? Because back then it wasn't. When they came, it wasn't like the.
Well, they were innovative with that whole. I think they were the ones that started that launched the whole boy band.
Yeah.
It was after them came New Kids on the Block and
NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, but the original ones were Boyz II Men.
But Boyz II Men weren't put together. You know, like NSYNC was put together by that guy.
Yeah, because everybody wanted the next Boyz II Men, but it was Boyz II Men that started the whole trend. And that documentary, I'm telling you guys,
what is it called again?
I don't remember. It's on pop music. Yeah. It's like the history of pop music and how it evolved, and it highlights all the like. Yeah, this is the. Remember, I told you I hole up and do research.
Yeah,
this is.
So I got music questions. If we got music questions, we don't have to Google it.
Or have you guys ever seen the Rolling Stones documentary?
That one I did.
The Quiet one.
I did see that one.
Oh my God, with Bill Wyman.
You see that one?
Have you seen that?
It's pretty good.
Oh, dude.
You know what I just watched?
Guy.
This is totally off subject. The Social Dilemma. Did you see that?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched that.
I'll
yet.
fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then the guys were on Rogan.
Watch that.
You don't want to watch it. Don't watch it because you need this stuff for your business.
Yeah, it's already hard enough when I changed my Instagram, because when I was like, okay, I'm in music now, and they were like, Cassie, you have to convert your page to a public, because all my shit was private. I'm a very private person, right?
And you're going into the most public, or you're
you open yourself up, and they're like, you have to convert everything. And I was like, oh my God. So the first thing I did was I went through and I like deleted all of the pictures of my daughter, and like
daughter.
I'm
like
you know what I mean? Because
certain things are private.
It's different if I were married and I had a guy at home, or I had but like I live by myself.
Well, you get weird people too, and once you become more startup.
I had a guy show up on my front porch.
Yeah, weird stuff.
Drove down from Virginia and had to call the police. Yeah,
that's when it gets scary.
I'm not to the gym, boy.
I'm not even famous. Like nobody knows who I am.
Bodyguards, all that. I mean,
but I learned a lesson. You don't ever block somebody like that on Instagram
because they go crazy or what?
Well, I think
it feeds in.
If I had just not ignored
him, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, you learn all this stuff.
Well, Bismarck is going to the gym. He'll protect you.
Well,
I had a security guy for 30 days, just to protect the house.
Sure.
Because I was like, I don't know if he's coming back. I probably shouldn't be talking about all this on a podcast.
Well, when she becomes famous, get backstage passes, right? Give us backstage passes.
Can we get it on our record?
Don't even start with that.
Can you get us on the record? We'll get backstage passes.
Come
on.
Of course. Listen, I'm all about the love.
And don't forget about your two guys here when you blow up.
Stop.
I told that to Bismarck last time.
I don't forget about
when this gets huge. Yes. Bismarck, don't forget about me here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We don't forget about anybody.
Rob and Tommy are your people.
I know.
You guys get a flat tire at 3 a.m. We're the ones who's going to be there.
I know.
Whether you play the sax or produce or play with your phone all day long. Whichever one.
So funny. So funny.
Anything you want to push before we end?
No. Thanks, guys, for having us on.
Happy to. Nice, anything?
Yeah.
That gentleman DJing in that yacht picture, that's my friend Sips. Dancing Elephant Entertainment. He does these yacht excursions on occasion, and great person to know, good guy.
If you text that to me, I'll put it in a description for him. Give him a shout out.
Sure.
All right. And I want the word that both of you are going to come back again.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
As you escalate, and you'll let me know when you're going to release that. And,
yeah. Maybe we'll do something. It's gonna be soon. It's gonna be soon. It's going to be one of those like, hey, by the way.
If you keep teasing me, I'm going to have to manipulate it out of you. I'm going to have to pull out
It's a hot record, though.
And
it's really hot. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of it.
I'm going to have to turn into old me and manipulate the shit out of it.
To not give it away. You said it's a mix, right? It's like, you can't give me that. It's like,
No. It's being released as a pop song, but it is the bass line. It's very hip hop. It's hip hop, but I've got a I love doing shit that's kind of unidentifiable. You know what I mean? But it's the build up in it as a producer. It's my first song that will like pop at the club. Like it's a club song.
Yeah, it's over.
You know what I mean?
I have pen and paper to sign if they come back.
Like my no.
Bismarck, before you leave, I have papers right here.
No.
Cassie, not Casey, Cassie.
My other stuff. You know, like for example, Bounce Out now. I produced and released for television.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. That was one of my questions actually.
All of my music. So as a producer,
you sure as fuck know how to tease somebody. I'll tell you that.
No. But you have to remember, I come at this from the industry, and so when you look at as a business, when you look at my Spotify, Bounce Out now is like my least played song on Spotify. That song has been my biggest moneymaker. Yeah, because it's been featured in 2 TV shows. And I've got it teed up for a March Madness campaign, right? But when I produce music,
we're definitely getting that paper signed.
No, but when I produce music, like I have to make the song sound like the feeling, the vibe of the song. So it's, I mean, anyway.
I just always wondered, like nowadays, how you have radio. I mean, a radio's still not what it was, of course, right?
Yeah.
But I still think it's like one of those like
old people
gives the credibility.
There ain't no kids.
I think it still gives credibility to things. Like to say it was a Billboard top whatever or on, played through the radio waves, that gives like credibility. That's how I look at it. But
yeah, for sure.
How do you become nowadays with Spotify list? How do you hit it? Like how do you hit it big? How do you know? Like how does that happen? Like how does
No, it's a great question. You have to do everything. I mean, you've got to be, it's not like this one thing makes it pop, right? I mean, when I'm releasing music, it's like my song Up a Level. So Bounce Out now I knew was going to be good for television, right? So they're all on internet radio, right? But Bounce Out now I started pushing towards like television and stuff like that. Up a Level, when I dropped that, it's got a housey vibe. I dropped Up a Level, and the first thing I did was I blasted that specific song to 9 DJs in Ibiza and was like, hey, can you throw it in your set? Can you remix? And Up a Level took off in Europe. Like that specific song just popped. I mean, now I haven't put any money behind it, none. So I mean, it's like the fact that it's got 200,000 streams, and I've literally invested 0 money into it.
Yeah.
Now we're about to shoot the video for that. I have a whole campaign, so it's kind of like sometimes songs don't really pop until they're out for a year or 2.
Sorry, and we'll keep asking.
No, go ahead.
But the other question wasn't. I always think it's like psychological sometimes because you hear a song. I'm gonna go with the radio, but you hear a song on the radio and you're like, man, that song sucks. I really don't like it. Like I don't know, just didn't like it. And they play it every half an hour, every hour, whatever it is, whatever their thing is. So they'll play this new. Let's say Pink has a new song out. So Pink's song will hit in an hour, and then an hour later they'll play it again. An hour later they play it again. It's like strategically, if you're listening to the radio on a long drive, let's just say you're hearing it, and then it starts to like, okay, I could kind of get into this. And the more and more you hear it, like the more I feel like if I hated it then, I'm like, well, I kind of like it. It kind of becomes like
grows on you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like weird, like psychologically. I don't know if that's how it works.
Billie Eilish's Ocean Eyes.
I hate Billie.
I know, but well, no, I mean, everybody, but like that was a song that I heard and I was like, God, her voice is beautiful.
It is.
Dude, I heard that song and then it got sleepy there for like, I mean, you know what I mean? It was like, kind of bounce around quietly to some friends, but and then it's like a year later, she just like hits, And I think some of that might be label, I mean, it's like you start playing listen, it's a marathon. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even focused on the success. Like it's like, let success be your noise. Like I'm literally just focused on the work. I'm like, if I put like with indie artists, Up a Level, okay, push that shit to Europe. They're going to eat this shit up. Bounce Out now, I'm going to push that shit to all of my media firms, right? And then it's like our song, Indie Artist, dude, this is an anthem for any indie artist that deals with this fucking shit. all the time. And I'm going to tell you, that's in the millions.
Relatable.
Right. I have literally 3 million indie artists that are waiting for this, to hear this song. You know what I mean? And these are groups that I've collected over the years and worked my ass off. I've stayed in and worked while my friends were at the bar. I stay in and build lists of indie artists that I can blast the song to. It's like, it's like you do enough of this shit and it's like, okay, eventually like shit's going to happen, man, because it has to. It's like one of the 16 things you're fucking doing is going to make it stick.
Yeah, if you have the talent and never give up, it will pop.
Yeah. So
good things take time. That's what I was told growing up.
It does not happen overnight.
No,
man,
it
just doesn't.
It would be nice if
even if it seems like it happened for someone overnight, like a Billie Eilish or something. I'm telling you, it didn't happen overnight for her. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's
a marathon, like you said.
It is.
But you're on a good track. You got good people behind you. You got a good guy behind you.
Yeah, no. And you guys were so fun to have us on. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. And you're going to make it, both of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
He hasn't changed a bit since I met him.
Bismarck's hot.
And that's how you can kind of judge somebody. Do they change the more yachts that they go on, the more things around them, the more events? And he hasn't changed a bit. Whenever I text him, he answers. He's cool.
Yeah.
And you're very down to earth.
No, I don't. That's one thing.
You live next to fucking Usher, for Christ's sake.
No, that was in Atlanta.
Or whatever.
Listen, I wasn't in his neighborhood.
It doesn't matter.
Really nice neighborhood.
You were close enough to him.
Next to like
you're very down to
our neighborhood, right? You know what I mean? No, I mean it's I know, but you remember the people in the industry that have been nice to you. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing. The hardest thing about being an artist is it's like you have to just kind of take the bad with like a grain of salt and just kind of like know that it's part of the game, but then you're sporadically going to bump into people that are just willing to just help you just because they, you know what I mean? You connect with them. And one of those people, Frank Lopez Balboa with Cumulus, Frank, I mean, I was cold calling. I sat at my house and I was like, I'm going to cold call radio people. And I called and called and called. I was that girl, they're like, who is this, girl? She's at her age thinking she's going to be in pop star, like who the fuck is like somebody take her call so she doesn't call again. Right. I was that girl.
But that's how you got to be.
But you know what? It's like, thank God for, like Frank, I admire him so much. I mean, like as a person in his industry, and he's the CFO of Cumulus, you know what I mean? Like, but he's so nice, and it's like, oh God, thank God for people like him, because when my day gets low and I'm feeling really low about myself, it's like, somebody else is, if this person won't meet me, somebody else in the industry does want to meet me, and you just have to like keep reminding yourself of that. And if you do, you can make it.
As long as you don't give up, you're both.
Yeah, exactly.
Both
just kind of like,
that's it. Don't give up.
Keep your mental health good,
Oh yeah.
So
don't give up, guys.
Yeah.
You'll make it.
Thank you.
Maybe a month and a half, come back. All
right.
Unless you come out with that thing earlier.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bismarck. Guys. Thank you, Cassie.
Yes,
not Casey,
you.
not to be messed
cool.
up.
It's all
Sorry about
good.
that.
It's all good.
Thank you, Bismarck, for introducing us.
Thanks,
to
guys.
I appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you for being the day one guy. Appreciate that, bro.
For sure.
Thank you, guys. So we'll definitely push this as much as we can.
Sweet.
Thank you again. Everything will be in the description.
Cool.
And we'll see you guys soon. We got to get this contract written up real quick here.
So. You're so funny.
And with that, we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Bismarck.
All right.
My man.